probably want to make a game like this, but there's no good tutorials out there, so this video is a step-by-step guide on how to make a game that's pretty similar to that. So I'm here in a basic base plate map, and the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and get your base plate, go to properties, put the transparency to 1, and turn off can't collide. This is just so that you can see where the surface is, so you don't put anything down too far in the map. Delete the spawn point, and you're gonna need an elevator. Now what you can do here is search one up in the toolbox, or you might have your own that you built, I don't know, but I recommend using my model, which I will link in the description. But I'll go ahead and put it in to the game, and this is what it looks like. It's probably going to be the most compatible, or it's more likely to work correctly with the script that I'm going to make. So that's just a heads up. Once you've done this, we're going to have to do the actual scripting. So I'm going to go to server script service. I'm going to put in a script. You can probably name this elevator script and delete that. Before we actually write anything, we need to go to server storage, add a folder. We're going to name this folder info. Inside of info, we're going to have two values. In the search object, you're going to look for int value and object value. Your object value is going to be called current floor. Your int value is going to be called server floor count. This is going to keep track of how many floors we've gone through, and this is going to tell us what floor we're currently on. Now in our script, local main info is equal to game.serverstorage.info. Should probably do wait for child actually. Then we're gonna go ahead and get our values. Now, unless you're making your own variables here, you're going to want to make sure that all of this stuff that you write is exactly how I do it, otherwise there are going to be errors. After that, we're going to need our elevator as a variable, so local elevator is equal to game.workspace, wait for child, elevator. Then we need the main door of the elevator, which is right here. It's just an invisible wall that you might need in case you don't want players to leave the elevator. Next, you're going to get the other doors. Now that we have this, we're going to go back to our server storage. We're going to add a folder called floors. Now this is actually where you're going to store the maps of your floors. If you go into Studio here, for example, I added this part. I'm going to resize it like this. It's just a little platform like that. So when you have whatever map you're going to make as a floor, you're going to make a folder inside of your floors folder, and you're going to name it whatever you want, whatever correlates with whatever the floor is. So for me, it's just a platform, so I'll name it platform. Then I'm going to put my platform in there, and if you have other parts that are a part of the floor, I'm just going to put it in the folder with it. Next, we have our floor, but we need the script to recognize it. So we're going to go back to our script. Floors equals curly brackets and the name of your floor. So in this case, platform. Now if you have multiple floors, all you're going to do is put comma, quotation marks, and then the name of it. So just floor. That's just hypothetical though. I only have one floor right now. So all of this is our variables. So I'll go ahead and just write variables so that we know, or for organization. We'll go some spaces down, and this is where we're gonna script the elevator system. So the elevator system is a loop of moving from floor to floor. So in this case, we're going to do a while true do loop. We need to wait before we go to the next floor because there's always like a gap in between floors. So in our variables, we're going to say count down time is equal to 5. Now you're probably going to want it to be something like 25 to 30 seconds, but I'm going to do 5 seconds because it's way easier to work with, because you don't have to wait every time you're testing your game, so you can just change it later. Now before the loop, we're going to have some functions. First of all, function choose floor. We're going to want a variable, and we need a table with a wait list of all the floors we have so that they go, in line basically. So to do that, in our values, we're going to add wait list is equal to curly brackets. Now we can say wait list comma 1. This basically removes the floor from the wait list because that's the one we're going to play. After that, table dot insert wait list new floor, current floor is equal to new floor. So we're setting our earlier variable here to the new one. We're just going to return new floor so that the script knows which one we picked. Since choose floor is returning the floor that it picked, which is going to be platform because it's the only one we have, then our loop can access that by running the function local map is equal to choose floor and clone it. So we've cloned the map, and now we need to add it to the workspace because it's still going to be in server storage. And that basically means we've just arrived at a new floor. So server floor count plus equals 1, which just adds 1 to the value of how many floors we've gone through so far. We need our players to actually be able to go out through the doors to get to the map, and in our model the doors are just closed. We're going to add a wait here, just like half a second, and after that is when we want the door to open for the players. And we're going to do that in a little bit, but we're going to need an if statement here in order for the script to know which code to run, because each floor has its own code that it needs for it to work, and the script needs to know which code to run for each floor. So it's going to run an if statement. So if current floor.name is equal to platform, then and it's going to run whatever code it needs to run for this specific floor. You could put whatever you want here. You could put some code to make the part get destroyed or whatever you need. But in this case, we're going to add a separate part over here for floor scripts. We're going to have a script for the platform, local function floor platform, or you could just do platform, but I like to just add floor before it. And the script needs to know, needs to find the floor that it's trying to modify. So I'm going to say local floor is equal to game.workspace wait for child platform. So it's going to wait until it finds this folder right here when it gets added into the workspace. When it does, let's say we wanted to wait 5 seconds and then we wanted to change the transparency of the platform. So we're going to say floor.part.transparency is equal to 0.5. Then we're going to make it wait another 5 seconds and then the floor will end. So this is just going to be like where you write the order of things, the order of events that occur throughout the floor. So here's our if statement, and here's our function. So we need the function to run for platform when it gets chosen. So if the current floor's name is platform, then it's going to run the function that is associated with it, floor platform. And if you have another floor or multiple floors, then you'll just do else if current floor dot name is equal to then the name of your floor. But in this case we only have one right now, so we don't need that. We're just gonna add else for now. Else, just do nothing if it's not that. The code after the if statement is what is gonna execute after your floor, your function has finished running. So it goes through this, it waits 5 seconds, it does this, it waits another 5 seconds, and then it's gonna execute what's after this if statement. So after here, you're probably gonna want your main door to block players from entering because the door's closing. So can collide is true. What you also might want is, you know, the door's like sound effects to play when it closes and stuff, but we'll do that later. Now you're probably gonna want your door to work so that players can leave and enter the elevator right up here in our variables. And I'll actually call this values. Then we'll separate that. So in our variables, personally I like smooth animating, so the best option would be tween service. So it's going to take a lot of code, but it's pretty helpful. So first of all, we need to know the starting position of the doors and what position they're going to go to when they're opening. So local initial position 1 equals door 1 dot position. Local initial position 2 is equal to door 2 dot position. So we have both of the initial positions of the doors. Now we need the target positions. Local target position 1 is equal to initial position 1, the position of the door when it starts, plus vector 3, and right here is where you're going to add, so we're going to put how much you want the door to move. So for my elevator, I want it to move specifically 3.2 studs to the left and right so that players can move through. So it's going to be 0, 0, and negative 3.2. And I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm just going to change this to a 2 and this to a 2. So what we've done here is we've told it to move 3.2 studs. Also, we want to know how long it's going to take for these doors to move apart. You can make this whatever you want, but for me, I'm doing specifically 3.3 seconds. Oops. Now, since we're doing tween service, we're going to need to, let's actually get tween service first. So, local tween service is equal to game get service tween service. Now, since it's tween service, we need to know the easing style. So local easing style is equal to enum dot easing style dot sign. That's just the one I use. Local easing direction enum dot easing direction dot out. So now we've told it how we want it to move. Now we have to actually make the tweens. Local tween 1 is equal to game get service tween service. Or no, we don't need to do that. We can actually just do tween service create, and in here we need door 1, the first door, tween info dot new. We need the duration, the easing style, the easing direction. We're gonna add a comment right there, curly brackets, position is equal to target position 1. So this right here will move our door 3.2 studs, and we just need to do it to the second door now. So copy and paste this. Change this to a 2, change this to a 2, and change this to a 2. Alright, so we've told the script how to move the doors when it opens, but we need to tell it how to move when it closes back. So go ahead and copy and paste this again, but we're going to name it tween back 1. This is going to be door 1, and position is going to be the initial position now, initial position 1. Now copy and paste that. Change this to a 2, change this to a 2, and change this to a 2. Okay, now our tweens are set up. We just need to use them. So we go back down to our elevator script here, and right here we wrote a comment for where we want the doors to open. This is where you just have to do tween 1 play and tween 2 play. So now we're playing the tween, and we need our other set of tweens to play when it needs to close. So it closes after the floor's code runs. So it's going to be probably like right after this. So tween back 1 play, tween back 2 play. And I think that's it. You could probably add wait. You want a short waiting duration before you destroy the map, because you're going to go to the next one. So map destroy. And then it's going to run it all over again and choose the next floor. So we can go ahead and test this out right now. Alright, yeah, I was expecting to get an error somewhere. Okay, so I actually made a couple of errors here. So I don't know why, but I didn't put .new before these two. And also change this plus sign to a minus sign. Alright, and we got another error. Oh yeah, so I actually forgot a really important part. So before this loop runs, I need to run code right here, a for loop that will add every floor into the wait list. I forgot to actually put the floors into the wait list for some reason. Now here we're gonna need a items table. So add another curly brackets up here, and then items, item, and table.insert waitlist item. And right here you could just print an error in case doesn't find the floor. Now that we add a waitlist, let's see if it works. So it looks like, oh, So in our variables, so door 1 should be the right door, and door 2 should be the left door. Now we're gonna test. Oh, okay, as you can see, the doors are opening. So whenever you have a floor where you want players to be able to leave the elevator and not just watch, that's when you're gonna go to the code of that floor and put elevator.main.door, actually no, main.door can collide is equal to false. And once the code of that floor has finished running, it'll just enable it again right here. So we know it works, but it's kind of bland because there's no audio. But I've actually added audio in the elevator already. It's in the main door here, and we can actually go ahead and just play that in our loop. Right here is where our door opens. So right before it opens, we're gonna play this sound effect, main door.bell. Play. So it's gonna play a ding like normal elevator does before it opens. When it does open is when we're gonna want main door.open to play. When it closes, we're just gonna want it to play the same thing. So I'll just put it like right about here, and I'll just test that now. Wait, let me add a longer waiting period. Oh, I actually forgot to wait the countdown time. Wait countdown time. And there you go. We can walk out here. As you can see, the base plate just turned transparent. And I'm locked out of the elevator. I think it does that in a normal elevator, and the map gets deleted and the players fall to their death. And it repeats just how it should. So now that we have the basic parts of the elevator done, I'll go ahead and wrap this up because this is getting kind of long. This will be part 1. For part 2, we'll add more things. We'll add some things like music, any other important things that we need. So hopefully this helped you, and goodbye.